extra kill, but at the same time, getting these 2 kills doesn't mean he's safe. There's other terrorists remaining, and you'd have to assume they're splitting as well. So I can't blame him for taking that fight and then his teammates not picking up the slack. I think that ultimately comes down to them. So good on MBK to recover the round around that they should have won probably fairly easily after that good push. I like the patience from Sixer to sit halfway down CT, and he timed it really well. He even got checked a couple of times and didn't give in.
Nice little buy coming out here from Kinguin. They're going to go for the investment into this round. Do manage to get themselves the bomb plant, so that's why we see an AK onto Mihu. That's someone who has been a star in this team and in the tournament so far, so we'll see if he can do it again. Mouse is the one who will take the hit. Does still have a deagle in hand, however, so I don't think that's a bad trade-off. And, well, 2 rifles currently coming off Furlan with an instant one-tap onto Happy, who goes aggressive. And, well, I should give them some information that they're on a force, but actually just having a Tech 9 doesn't really tell them too much.
Especially since they haven't heard the sound of that dink, that head armor. They don't know with certainty whether or not all these players have bought up full. Malzeno obviously only spending half his money because he might want to op in the future. But this round is not over, and every time you get a kill on T-side, you can think about slowing it down, and it seems like Kinguin have decided to do that. But yeah, with this lack of guns, that one-on-one duel, the UMP coming out ahead just runs through armor, honestly. No surprise to me that he was able to win that. Good nade from Apex to shut down a little bit of the aggression at T-Con. Sixer pulling the trigger a bit too early, but not doing any damage. Good stuff. Rowling goes down.
Oh no, Apex from behind. Can he get the second? Actually going to be missing the shots. Eventually finishes things off, and they do capitalize on this round. The force buy does not pay off for the T side, and it was a nice idea. Actually started quite successfully, but it's similar to the previous round. They have the man advantage, have a 2-man advantage, but don't actually do anything with it.
No, they don't actually do it. Sometimes splits are really weak when you're with saving players, and so it's actually better not necessarily to not split, but to have a lot more people in one area, like a 4-1 for example. Send a Tech 9 late as a contingency plan in case everything else fails, but send 4 people all at once into a single choke point because the guns you have aren't good enough to get multi-kills.
Will be the save coming out for Kinguin. Happy looking to go aggressive again. He was caught last time. This time, there is only pistols waiting. Not going to go overly aggressive, trying to use the smoke to his advantage, but he will actually be spotted. Spiro doing a lot of damage, and he is going to be taken down. Obviously only with an MP9, so not the worst case scenario. Bomb plant, definitely possible for Kinguin in this round. Obviously that's one of the factors that comes in on train. That B site is pretty much plant city.
Yeah, just as you said, they're getting that 1 kill. There's Rollin going top train. I think that's the 2nd round in a row he's died like that. Typically, you want to go up there to try to spot. After they fix ladder hitboxes, it's become a lot weaker to be able to do that for free. MBK being very patient with his shooting, but as his attention was taken away from him, Malzeno was able to cross and put himself, get himself a nice bomb plant, almost making up for any of the deaths that have happened before that. So Envy are able to take the round, but Kinguin will be just fine economically moving into round 4.
Yeah, extra bomb plant. Definitely going to be helping them out. Kenny was actually just saving into this round, so I imagine we'll see an AWP coming up on his shoulders. And, well, not a bad start overall. I do feel like the side of Kinguin need to work on just basically using their advantage a little bit better. But there we go, Kenny up with the AWP. Happy will have a rifle.
And because of those plants, they actually have some money left over. Full buy, 5 AKs, full nade sets, 1K each. Molly goes out on the CT side just preemptively, and a couple of flashes in response as well. And here is just a little bit of confusion. Kinguin can really has the opportunity right now to set the tempo, let EnVyUs know how they're going to play, and EnVyUs have not overreacted in this circumstance.
Yeah, still MBK playing that catalyst role over on the B site. May have quite a bit of work to do relatively soon. AWP of Kenny has been positioned over towards Ivy. Obviously it does mean he can look all the way down the right side of the trains and pretty much hold A main if needed as well. But in this circumstance, it's looking like the B hit's going to come in, and, well, relatively scripted as of yet from the CT side. Already got 2 players over in position. Obviously one of the most retakeable sites in the game. Rollin will get the first. Happy is there to quickly trade one. Mihu going very aggressive, however, and he's doing the work. Back to the 4 versus 3. Rollin incredibly low, and look at the bomb position. They need to take down Happy before this is going to be possible, and, well, a little bit of a bait. Mouse will jump over. and get himself the kill. AWP of Kenny is going to need to find a pick pretty soon. The dunk, just about, and well, Apex finds another. So back to the 2 versus 2. Both players over towards the right side, although we are seeing an upper push coming in from Spiro. And Mouse, he is coming in from behind. I think he actually thinks there's somebody on the bomb. There isn't at the moment, and he's still going to drop Apex anyway. Looking for the second. Only has 2 bullets left in the clip, so will have to pretty much hit instantly. Doesn't manage to. Switches over to his Glock, and, well, Kenny just sort of dancing around the side at the moment. I think he's going to have to realize relatively soon he's got to get out of there. Doesn't have himself a kit. Will take Mouse with him at least, but it's still going to be around on the board. For Kinguin and Kenny, well, he's going to make it very, very costly for them.
Kenny had a couple of very uncharacteristic off-frag misses. He had one player that was to the left side of the bomb train that he wasn't able to take down. It didn't seem like much of a flick. We weren't spectating him, but looking at the numbers at the end of that round, it seemed like they were pretty critical. Now, there isn't much you can do about that, and it isn't the biggest loss for EnVy to take in that situation. He's also going to have another opportunity to operate here. And we see at the end of the round, was able to turn it on for the last 2 kills. Kinguin, however, after winning that round, really, how are they so low on utility? They had to drop some AKs.
Everyone died.
Only having 2 oh, every single player died. That's true. That is one way to drain the economy of your opponent. So EnVy are going to have a better buy into this round, even though they had just lost.
Are they boosting?
Yeah, this is to see through the window. They
Oh,
don't have an
that...
op to use it, but it doesn't matter.
Ooh.
Azino's still going to take advantage of Apex.
Very,
Bottom
very
half
nearly.
almost gets knocked down.
Roland going to go down to 12 HP, but it still will be the man advantage to Kinguin. Now, let's see how they actually opt to play with it. I would quite like to see them just go for some sort of setup over towards the A site, and they are setting up. A couple of players probably going to throw some smokes through the windows as well. Bomb rotating back in towards the A main position. 55 seconds left on the clock. They've still got plenty of time to play with, and, well, really, it's the CT's job to try and get themselves back into this round. You can see the position of MBK. He is solo on the site, so they've still got the sort of 3 players over towards this site, and look at the aggressive position currently being held from Happy. He's ready and waiting, but, well, doesn't expect to get his head ripped off by Spiro. 2-man advantage. Kenny will be there to trade one back. He has started quite quickly in this game, but does need to catch the kills, and it's Mihu to take him down instead. Sixer, well, he'll get nothing done, and, well, MBK now in a 1 versus 3, and Roland's going to take him down instead.
I really appreciate that Roland came late Ivy in that situation. I thought that Kenny was going to be more of a problem for him up and from the back lanes. But him coming up late obviously secured the round. I mean, him being the extra player. And you just don't need that many people coming out of 2 choke points. I also like the smokes. The 2 smokes on the right side of the bomb train, but one in Ivy, and this kind of V that it creates, and allows a terrorist to have some enemies to actually take down. One thing I don't like about certain smoke executes on train is that people almost smoke themselves out of the round. Looks like a fast outside might be on the menu right now. Not a lot of utility or upgraded weapons for EnVyUs to use to defend in this situation. Kenny is looking to do a little bit of damage with the CZ. Furlan gonna neutralize that threat.
Couple of low players though. Still, MBK could take 1, maybe even 2 players with him if he's lucky. Obviously, Team Kinguin's money, not great. Don't do bad in the last round, of course, but the round before, losing every single player was very, very costly to their economy, as we saw, as they didn't have too much utility. But they do speed up the pace in the previous round, which worked out quite nicely due to the fact they didn't have very much utility.
Someone might wonder, well, why is he playing so far back if he could go and hunt and he doesn't have a lot to lose and he's at a 4-end choke point? Well, Kinguin might typically want to exit where they don't think that he's coming from, and this big flank would totally get called out if he were to walk in. So, unfortunately for him, they actually all made their way to Ivy and not to T-Con, but it was worth the risk.
Yeah, and even if he catches 1 player off, gets a rifle, it's pretty much just a free weapon for him going into the next round. So, instead, well, he's not going to feed them $300 into their bank accounts, and I suppose that's fine. Going into the next round, we will have Kenny, glass cannon. Need to see more from him. And actually, Spiro is going to be picking up the AWP on the other side. Definitely looking forward to seeing this AWP battle take place. Apex already tagged very, very low. Look at Furlan just going alone here on the site. Is Apex...
Oh, my God.
Oh, he's actually going to jump down behind him.
Wow, they dealt with that problem. I mean, Furlan was there just to make a lot of noise, draw attention, try to get a lurk frag if possible. And EnVy sent out their mercenary in Apex to try to get rid of him, and they completed that task without taking any more damage. It's also Apex that was hurt from his spray, so he's able to get revenge on himself.
Mihu baiting out the shot from Kenny. Violent going down actually does mean that we're now obviously in a 4 versus 5. T-side need to try and get themselves back into this round. Spiro with the AWP, maybe the man to do it, although it looks like they're just waiting for some sort of aggression to come out. Now, EnVy have absolutely no reason to do that other than information, and even then it's not really worth it as long as they trade effectively. They have moved the second player over towards this B site, as we see them do quite characteristically throughout this game so far. And they've actually got Happy up close. Now, what this means is this 4-man push with 30 seconds left is going to have a couple of players to deal with. We know that the remaining players, even if there's sort of an even scenario, should be able to take this back. But now it's going to be Happy. Decent position, but gets taken down. MBK very quick to trade. And actually takes a second for his troubles. Can he get the third? No, he can't. Rallen will be able to finish him off before planting the bomb. But look at this flank already coming in from Apex. A little bit worried by the seams of things. He's taking his time, but actually they're going to spot the player. Spiro missing the shot. That's the round done and dusted. And, well, EnVy are going to get themselves a 4th.
There's actually a lot to take apart from that round. I think one thing that I'm noticing stylistically is Kinguin have these very quiet rounds where they're walking most of the time, and even when they're going for map control, they're not letting the CTs know about their presence too much. I feel like a really great way for them to bait out grenades is to throw them up Ivy, because it's constant threat and thorn in your side when you're on CT side to have to worry about that third choke point outside, and they aren't really baiting out the utility that they want to, even though the seconds on the clock are always going down to the 40, 30-second mark. It's favoring EnVyUs the longer these rounds go on, because it seems like Kinguin are grouping up for their executes, but they aren't doing a good job of herding the sheep, if you will. And as shepherds on the T side, and because they're able to create this conclave, I think they need to do a much better job of, number one, making it feel like it's going to be an execute somewhere else, or at the very minimum, you know, more plays like how we saw Furlan get outside with that one smoke and force a reaction out of EnVyUs, whether in a player pushing up or getting out of position, or counter grenades having to be used.
Double up setup brought in onto a CT side. Kenny going to be able to get away from the Molotov. We'll force him back by quite a close angle considering he has an AWP, but we do know that he can hit those shots. Again, a minute left on the clock. Kinguin actually got pretty close over on this Ivy position. Seen Kenny fall back relatively far, and Sixer is clearly aware, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. But now we're going to see this split come in. Furlan with the start. Sixer goes down. Mihu actually picks up another in the meantime. Happy with the secondary orb. Will get one, but other than that, it's just been a quick entry onto the site. Looking at MBK, and it looks like Happy as well, just hoping they can find a frag, and Rallen straight through the corner will pick up the kill, leaving MBK to just save.
That was actually a beautiful round from Kinguin. To start off that initial Molotov, after you saw how Kenny S was just in front of that smoke at Ivy, and he decided not to move. The molly landing right at his feet, pushing him out back through the smoke, even though he wasn't scared to be there, was pretty incredible. If that hadn't happened, he might have been able to take a shot and fall off, but instead they were able to take Ivy control without anybody being able to respond. Now the top smoke might make you think, well, they're smoking themselves out of their own choke point, but Ivy's so hard to control, it's important to take it in sections as opposed to assuming that once you want to take it, you go throw your nades at Ivy and run all the way up. No, it's actually worthwhile to throw a smoke to the top of it just to burn 15 seconds so you can carefully clear out all the angles leading up to the end choke point.
Another round on the board for Kinguin, though. They, as you said, nice little pincer onto the site to get themselves that round. And now we see EnVy in trouble once again, only managing to get one round out of it, and they have to go back to an eco stance, obviously buying up some upgraded pistols, something we know that they can do damage with. But Furlan, clearly aware of the economy state, has purchased himself up a lovely little MAC-10.
Last time we saw an anti-eco, Kinguin decided to go outside quick. This time, instead, they're congregating towards inner Furlan, as we can see right in front of the smoke. MBK, the only man inside. Teammate has just rotated in from Z. That's your boy Happy, Vincent Schopenhauer. And and it seems like Envy actually usually have a really good read on their ecos as to what sites to stack. This one, not an exception either. NBK, quick CZ adjustment, 2 kills to his name easily. Almost 5 players dead already. 3 the victims of CZ's. Furlan is trying to move up the trade. Sparrow gets an op kill, but is it all for naught? There's one more. A second player has been spotted, and only one other needs to go down for the terrorists to win this round.
Oh
my
no.
goodness. Apex gives that up really easily, and Sixer crawling across heaven. I don't know if it's going to be known exactly where he's coming from, but he misses the flick. Sixer gets the better of him. And yeah.
He almost had it, but it shouldn't have been a position where he even had to. It was just pistols. Like they really shouldn't have been able to do so much. Nice read coming out from MV3 players already on that B site, and MBK with the nice little transition at the beginning.
You had MBK on the floor getting 2 kills with a CZ, not taking his time, but able to not have to fight anybody directly, and that just shows you that the spacing between, or the coordination between the upper and lower take were off. Typically, you want to have your guy come out lower ramp the exact same time, but even a little bit earlier wouldn't hurt. Last time we had, I think, Mauzino come out upper and kill a guy in sight. He was the instant trade. He killed Happy. That didn't happen here, and it's not clear why.
Both teams having to skimp a little bit with their economy. Mavs a little bit more so, got himself a Deagle in hand. MBK with the FAMAS. AWP on both sides. Apex actually, is it? No, yeah, Apex pushing a little bit, but not really going too far at this point. Just slowly creeping up the ladders. Sparrow actually looking for the peek over the side. He is actually going to spot out the head of Apex. Knows he's there, but because he doesn't have any armor, can't really risk stepping into that Molotov to try and get the kill. So just have to give the information to his team. Does mean that Rallen should have a good idea of where his opponent is. And actually manages to do quite a bit of damage to Kenny over on Ivy.
Definite difference there between the two operas. Kenny would have gone down to 15 HP to get that kill. Sparrow, maybe he doesn't have what it takes.
No, maybe he doesn't want to like 1G himself. Either way, Happy. He's going to go through the smoke. This is aggressive. Takes 2 kills. MBK's found another. And lovely round from Happy. Cleaning things up.
Very good.
And complete shutdown.
Yeah, easy shutdown. Now that the ladder position for the op is really good. It's a nice wide angle. You get to see over the top of trains, people pushing up to T-Con. It's similar to how if you come out of heaven on inner, how you're able to clear out spots on the site that the lower ramp guys can't do easily. For example, top pop, you can stand up there and shoot people in the feet as they run down the ramp. But if someone comes out heaven, that position has been completely compromised. Well, ladder's the same thing. If whoever's in front of whoever might be on T-Con train, you want to send a guy ladder there first to clear them out, and then your T-Con guys have a way out. But more than that, your ladder guy can come out for a quick peek. Smith did it all the time, where he would come out, peek a guy Ivy, or just first clear out those top trains, and a nice spot for an op to work by itself. Definitely. Another save round here for Kinguin. Down to 2K per person. Not a whole lot they can do. It's actually only Rallen to upgrade his gun.
Yeah, mistakes made in that previous or the round before, where they actually lose to those pistols. It's hurt them quite dearly. They did manage to get a buy, but completely shut down by MBK and Happy. And now looking like they're just going to go for a bomb plant over towards this B site once again. 3 players. And it does seem like a very good read from Envy once again. They put their 2 players there, obviously want to try and deny this plant as much as possible. And while MBK is going to go for the spray, actually going to lose his life, leaving only Happy left on the site. He's doing quite a bit of damage, but taking the same. Rallen going to put him down, and dunk from Kenny. Will deny that plant at least. Keeping it with 3 players alive, not the worst case scenario. But it will mean that the nades are not going to be particularly good over on the Kinguin side. No Molotovs to play
Honestly,
with at all.
they're doing okay. These guys have so much, they must have built up so much stamina just from this tournament. Every best of 3 was 3 maps. They've had like 2 or 3 double OT maps where they ended up winning, coming out ahead. I feel like it's probably been a bonding experience, honestly. Not like the best competition that they've had to go through, but they've definitely shown that they can play. All the teams they've had to beat, that is. Sixer, initial kill, very good one as well, out ladder. Kenny and Apex, both players outside, contributing in this round. Xeno's going to have a friend upstairs, and maybe it's a frenemy. Apex kills him. All that's left is Rollin. Instant death. The outside take falls flat on its face. I'm not sure if the smokes weren't great. Potentially, the fights were given to them, and running outside as terrorists, and if your smokes allow for CTs to peek you, if you have those 50-50 engagements, you're just expected to win some of them, or you're not going to win the round. There's going to be no way for you to get a plant for free, and so all you're doing is trying to smoke out the rotators. Ultimately, I think Kinguin got what they asked for, couldn't live up to their own expectations.
Back to pistols for Kinguin once again. They seem to quite like going over to this B site. I don't really blame them when they have these pistols in play, but getting pretty close and setting up these smokes. Obviously, if they can get the bomb down in this situation, it's much easier to fall back. But we're actually going to see Sixer, and he's just going to go straight for the denial. Eventually gets it. Does actually find another in the meantime. Spiro the only one left. Happy shutting him down.
Man, I quite like those Ivy. I mean, I like that Ivy smoke take that they use, the right side bomb train and Ivy smoke. They use that on their rifle round. That round that Rowland came up Ivy late, backstabbed Kenny S, killed MBK as the last person. I think that one worked so much better. I wonder why they didn't try that again on that previous rifle round.
Well, they are back with their rifles once again. AWP onto Spiro. Hasn't really had too much impact as of yet in this round. There was obviously the eco they lost where he gets a few kills, but other than that, hasn't done anything too impressive. And, well, that was a round that they 100% should have won, so pop flash out. Not going to spot anything yet. The smoke wall is ready. Apex actually switching it up a bit. He's been going quite aggressive over towards A main, but this time playing close on Ivy. Switching things up. Has the support of Kenny as well. Two players are in that general direction, and they're going to actually smoke this deep. Now, this could mean that Apex position becomes more valuable, in fact, because they may not expect someone to be close. Obviously, it's a spot that you should definitely check, but doesn't necessarily mean that they will. I think the jump spot may have given them some information, and Apex actually shooting his gun, but he's going to take down Mihu anyway. Teammate not there anymore to get the trade. So it is just going to come back down to this 4 versus 5. Kinguin starting to look a little bit flat in this situation. Actually, MBK, well, he goes for a peek, gets his head shot off. And now we're actually going to see another entry onto the site. The push will continue. The rotation of the bomb is going to go back towards this A site, leaving Happy alone. He's been smoked out. He thinks it's still over on B. 6 are actually over towards the back, and no one is on this site.
No, they've decided to try to rotate frantically as they felt like they were down in numbers, and it seemed like inner was clearly the site they were going to take. Basically a double fake, but was actually just an adjustment once they killed MBK. Surprised they were able to do that so decisively. Nice movement from Kinguin overall as a team to stay coordinated in that situation. Those on-the-fly adjustments are so important, and to be able to do it quickly with 5 minds that have to agree on one thing, it's actually a much harder task than it seems.
Happy still going to be looking to try and do something in this round. Maybe looking for an exit or two. May actually find Furlan. There's one at least. Mouse, if he comes around this corner, this could be a nice bit of damage, but Happy jumps. And, well, thankfully, isn't able to get the kill while jumping with the AK.
And here's the trying to deny the plant Rowland, realizing that he's been spotted.
Yeah, look, in that same spray, the last bullet hits Mouse in the head.
In the head. Oh, I see. He killed them both. Wow. Dude, this is actually, I mean, this has been like a, not uneventful half, but it's been a very execute-heavy. It's really nice for strategy. I think anybody that wants to learn how to play CS could take a lot of it out of the rounds that Kinguin have played out, at least on the T side. Train one of the harder maps to do that on, because the Kinguin are not executing following frags all the time. They're simply gaining map control, holding, and if CTs don't give them a kill, they still fall back to these 5-man executes that are actually quite good. You can't do this on every single map, but Train is so forgiving sometimes when it comes to finding opening kills that it is important to have this style in your back pocket. Now, we're going to have one more round here, potential for a 9-6 half, and after all of these attempts, Kinguin are going to be good. 5 or 6 is not so bad.
6 rounds. I'd say 9-6 is pretty standard half.
Yeah.
Going into this sort of position. 10-5, I think, is a little bit more skeptical, and the pistol will probably play a much bigger part if they are to lose it. Going to want to get this last round on the board. Both teams, of course, with a bye. Double up set up him for the CT side. And, well, Sixer, he's had his moments with the AWP. See if it actually comes into fruition here. They are looking like they're about to split on to the A site. Kenny is going to be waiting for the push from Mihu. And he's going to actually pop flash in, missing the shot. This should be Mihu's kill, but actually Kenny's going to get away with it. Apex finds 2-3 in the meantime. And while Spiro now the only one left alive, not connecting that first shot, waiting for someone to peek back into the angle. Does manage to get one, but Apex with a big round is going to end the half.
It's kind of unclear exactly what happened at the top of mid. We saw that whiff from Kenny S that resulted in Mihu having an opportunity. Obviously, he comes back around and hits the insane quicker no scope because that's what Kenny S does. But even apart from that, I wonder if pushing up the lurk as quickly as they did, maybe it was a good idea because it kept Kenny S busy. Like, even if he didn't get the kill, he would have been forced in a situation where he's always got to worry about me who can't op up the lanes. But Apex and him were just working so well together outside. It seemed like even on the other rounds, they were splitting the kills. All 5 of them. That's a nice trophy. It's bigger than you, dude.
Thanks, I think. I'm just like, I'm not that small. If that trophy was bigger than me, what? Is it just going to be me, like, photoshopped onto that trophy being lifted up?
You smiling and just gold would be fantastic.
Well, just being, like, lifted by... Actually,
Mihu.
Oh, so you're saying Kinguin are going to win?
Oh,
okay.
yes.
We've just seen the bias, because that's what I didn't want to do.
I mean, yeah, oops.
If Mihu lifting me up, he's not exactly a big guy.
No, but you made of gold.
Me made of gold, okay.
Yeah, even
can
more,
someone make
even
that,
more of a
please?
feat.
I feel like
wearing a
someone
tuxedo
will.
with the lapels that go down your knees. You know those like diamond lapels.
I just don't even want to imagine this anymore. It's terrifying. Either way, we are into the pistol. Luckily, nothing's really happened as of yet. It is going to be the B take. A very deep smoke actually coming in to get rid of Connector. Roland going to be completely isolated on the site. The remaining CTs will be rotating in very, very quickly, but look at the aggression coming out from the EnVy side. Roland will, however, be the first to get a kill, but the bomb goes down. Now the time just needs to be bought. Apex spamming a lot of bullets. Actually going to lose his weapon. Doesn't manage to pick up a second. And, well, Furlan getting a couple of kills is definitely going to help them out. Kit will come in. Spiro with the team kill. Happy with 2. And somehow this has swung back. Furlan the only one left. Got to try and challenge this 1 versus 1. Happy's got himself 2. Only 5 bullets left in the chamber for Furlan. Flashbang going to come out. I don't think he has time to do this even if he wanted to. There is a Kit somewhere on the floor. But Happy takes the risk and takes his head. And that's 11-5.
Yeah, very good. What was that? That was not a dab. Do you see that? They like touched fingers. That was super French. Anyways, great flank from Happy. Classic Happy in that position to be able to get away with it. All too many times you see somebody come down ladder late. So the strat there is basically Happy stands top ladder, and then everybody executes inner. And if nobody comes up the ladder, then he goes down, and then he rotates through Z and flanks. It works every time. Unless you miss all your shots and then look like a fool and lose the round for your team.
Does that happen to you a lot?
No. Wouldn't know anything about it. Just theory striking for the fans.
Ooh. MBK seems to have clocked on to where his opponent was. A relatively safe buy coming out from EnVy. Only 1 SMG in play. They've gone for 4 rifles. Happy to start things off. A nice little headshot onto Mouse. The Mac 10 of Apex is going to get himself a kill, and MBK's patience pays off. Roland is going to be able to trade one back. Unfortunately, there's 4 rifles in play. He hasn't managed to get a kill onto the 1. And, well, it looks like they're just going to clean this one up fairly safely. Anybody Spiro drops from here on out will be a little bit costly. Well, there goes Happy at least.
Rack them up. They're going to need a lot more than that. I mean, you mentioned that. Ooh. I wonder how long that B-hop string would have lasted. I got a half jump. Anyways, you mentioned the whole thing about the pistols. I didn't want to mention it because, you know, talking about second half pistols. Oh my gosh. As a caster, what a faux pas. But it's true. It's true. It just has made their lead so much greater. Now there's a full pistol save here. Getting to 13 is spelling doom.
Well, it's literally the difference between 8 rounds and 2 rounds.
It definitely is.
Like, it's mathematically only a difference of adding 3, but if you then take it away, it gets a little bit difficult. And, well, Not looking like anything's about to change in this round. Happy low. Maybe there's an opportunity. Second dunk of the game for Kenny. And yeah, this is starting to look a little, well, no, more than a little bit. Very, very worrying for the Kinguin side of things. They're going to have to pull a hefty comeback. AWP straight in for Ral and Glass Cannon. Now, obviously, used to be the AWPer in his previous lineup, so no problems there. I was always skeptical about that happening because who would be the AWPer in the team? But they've actually, well, they step up with double AWPs in quite a few maps. I think comes in on Mirage relatively often.
Yeah, that's one of their home maps for sure. Very good at that map. I actually borrowed a lot of my Mirage stuff from Team Kinguin back in the day. Way back. Ooh, outside take comes out. Rallin gets a kill. Malzino as well. Instant trades. Both sides. Nice pick from Kenny S. That IV control being lost, but Sparrow's essentially flanking at this moment.
Decent position. He gets the second as well. Brings it back to a 1 versus 1. Kenny does have the AWP flash. Oh, quick trigger finger from Kenny to take the head clean off his opponents. Nice attempt from Spiro, but it's not going to win him anything as they now go 14-5 down.
Yeah, that was absolutely more than nice, but unfortunately the 1v3 was basically necessary at this point. And more than that, they would have had trouble outside. They'd have to figure out what they did wrong on that hold entirely, because that wouldn't have happened next time. Here we're going to have Baya, but as any good team should, because they don't have the money, they're not going all in on this round. Essentially, they're going to be working with 5-round loss bonus anyway. We'll have to come back 10 rounds, but haven't actually even gotten a chance to, haven't shown themselves that they would lose the majority of CT rounds. They've only had the opportunity for 1 buy. So sometimes that is the way the cookie crumbles. It is, a game where pistols are going to matter quite a bit. Giving yourself chances is part of the game. Oh, nice opening kill from Kenny S.
Couple of scout tags have come in so far. Spiro is actually going to take down MBK. Obviously, the more tags he gets, the more valuable those pistols become, but unfortunately he goes down. Kenny gets himself another one. Definitely seems to be more awake in this game than in the previous. He will be able to get one more, bringing it back to a 3v3 and actually picking himself up an AK. Apex very quick to end the life of Malzinho. And although they do have a chance to at least do some damage, the problem is they don't actually have any chance to win the round. Yeah,
no chance to win the round. I mean, they didn't necessarily buy into this round with that hope in mind. 100% they're planning to, or trying to win the game. Like, they haven't counted themselves out, which is really nice to see. It's still going to be such a long way, such a tall hill. It's going to be, like back in the day, we used to go to school 10 miles in the snow barefoot, uphill both ways. That's basically the climb that Team Kinguin have to look forward to. 10 rounds in a row on CT side.
Did you say that Kinguin climb up a hill in the snow?
I'm saying it's like when we used to have to go to school, when we were kids, because we're old now.
Where did you go to school?
Where did I go to school?
That they made you walk up a...
There's literally a game going on.
Okay. Darkness from the past. Either way, very nice entry kills already from the EnVy side. Spiro will be there to try and trade one back, but that's going to be it for now. And while this first map is looking like it may just be done and dusted, only 2 players trying to save this one back. Mihu, he is going to be able to get himself one. Okay, MBK. Does manage to get the frag anyway. Nice headshot from him. And while that is it, done and dusted, an absolutely monstrous performance from the EnVy side. And I don't think that Kinguin ever looked like they were in that game.
I mean, did anybody ever think that Kinguin stood a chance? Not me.
And when Mihu lifts that trophy,
that's not a really
quote Launders.
It's not like that's a great map for training that they're moving into EnVy's pick or anything like that. But yeah, there was an effort. They joined the server.
They gave it a go.
It a go.
It's 400 grand difference or anything.
Yeah. I mean, what can you really do with 400 grand that you can't do with 8 backwards?
I don't know what's just happened, because the thing is, we haven't actually, like, I don't think I've cast a single game of Kinguin this tournament, at least.
Yeah.
Have you done one?
No, I haven't. I have not.
So it literally, this is the first time we're actually seeing them, and they've been phenomenal all the way through the tournament. And I don't know what just happened there. There really wasn't really too much to go on. It looks like they got shut down all over the shop, and other than the beginning, they were just out of it.
Maybe it's like quantum physics, but because we're observing them, then they behave differently. So off stream, they're much better, much more talented, much more coordinated. But as soon as they're in the limelight, I mean, they are on the big stage. That actually might play a factor. Fact is, though, EnVyUs are also playing much better. I feel like maybe they're kind of surprised to be in the finals after so many comebacks that have had to come out of them. So
Yeah, no, the last few games they played have been absolutely ridiculous. Either way, we will have the analyst desk to break this down. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you for that, Tom, and Professor Launders, I guess.
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics.
I think it might apply to them as well.
I think that was a bit of a stretch there, but yeah, unfortunately, the first showing we have from Kinguin on the mainstream isn't a very pleasant one. Before we dive into the game, I want to ask you about your thoughts about their veto process, because we know that EnVyUs' go-to vetoes are Overpass and Mirage.
Yeah.
They went for Overpass. Mirage was open. Kinguin destroys VP on Mirage. EnVyUs lost by a huge margin to Tyloo on Mirage, and they still go for Train.
Yeah.
Counter logic.
Yeah, counter logic
I mean,
gaming.
just before we start, the only thought process that I can think of is them, like, they know EnVyUs expects Mirage, so they want to throw a curveball with Train, because that's not a map that EnVyUs plays very often.
Well, even though it's not a map that Envy plays a lot, it's still not a map that they're bad at.
Yeah.
It's still a better map for them than Mirage. And I think Kinguin, sure, yeah, they've had good results on Train as well, but I think Mirage is a much safer pick. If you want to put the maps next to each other, I think they benefit way more from going with Mirage in any sort of scenario you spin.
Yona, would you say that Train is also maybe a bit easier to play, I mean, on the CT side, in a sense that even if you don't play it as much, the map is CT-sided, so when you have like strong individual players like EnVyUs have, you can get off to a very good half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't mean, I don't think it needs as elaborate system as Mirage CT side does. So definitely plays in as a factor. I think it might have been a bit of overthinking from Kinguin's side. Like kind of like you were alluding to there, Oliver, that Envy expected Mirage, and the foundation of this lineup used to be actually pretty good. The Polish side on Train, like it was the map that when they were known as Vexed, like that foundation, that's the map that got them into the majors and all that stuff. So it might have been a case of them just thinking, they're expecting it to be Mirage. Let's throw them off a little bit. Big Train, we're comfortable on the map. And definitely did not pay off.
Is it safe to say that maybe the inexperience and that Kinguin was a little bit nervous in this game as well? Because you saw in some of the situations, let's say second pistol round, you're playing against EnVyUs. It's like an after plan situation. A lot of people are alive. Happy is alive. And there's no one watching the flank. Like, when you talk to other players, other teams, everyone, no matter the map, Cobblestone, you always have someone watching window. That's where Happy is going to come, delayed and things like that. And they get completely caught off guard by that. Happy gets, I think, 2 kills, and they lose the second pistol round.
It's very common for teams that are new to these kind of situations. When the little jitters come in, you kind of you take shortcuts. In a sense where you kind of forget about certain, even if they might have talked about it before. Remember, Happy's going to flank, and then everyone's in the heat of the moment, just like tunnel visioning everything, just focusing on the bomb side, focusing on one thing only, and forgetting the possibility of flank. So, yeah, I think it has to do with the inexperience for sure.
Do you feel like this is a case of where the score doesn't really tell the story of the game? I mean, it's 16-5, but I feel like the game has been a lot closer, and it could have been even closer if just one or two of the rounds went a different way.
Yeah, no, it definitely could have been closer. I think especially when they were sitting at 4-3 in favor of Kinguin. So that's them just bringing it back after stabilizing, getting their first buy after winning pistols and so on. They end up losing that following round, making it 4-4, have to eco, Envy start getting on a bit of a run. Obviously, if they manage to squeeze that round out, then it's a completely different game altogether. They get more of a chance to actually stabilize in the second half as well after losing the pistol there. So But you know, you kind of have to close those rounds out. And then, you know, on the topic of, you know, kind of forgetting about the most basic things that you know your opponent is doing, that's something actually most teams have been forgetting, it seems like, during this tournament. We saw it on Cash for VP as well. They were constantly caught off guard by the fact that Happy was flanking. Same thing when they played Tai Lu on Cash. So Happy's just been getting away with a lot of this. And previously, you know, if you go back a couple of months, we've talked about how Happy's lurking had become less and less efficient. Now it's more back to the heyday where he's just getting away with everything. But I don't know. I don't think you can blame the stage or the setting that Kinguin find themselves in as a viable excuse to forget that kind of a thing. If anything, this is the moment where you should have it locked down, where you should know everything that's been thrown at you. And if they've already passed well, what I would call their biggest hurdle of the tournament, which is VP. It's a team that knows them in and out. It's a team that has always beaten them, and they managed to overcome that hurdle. So I'm not sure if that's...
But still, I would underestimate just the factor of tunnel visioning, because I've been in that situation where I've been an underdog team, and especially in a moment where you're about to beat a way better team, and then you have a certain protocol that you go by for anything really, and then people just kind of take shortcuts and forget about certain flashes maybe, or molly you usually throw, and then that ends up really costing you because there happens to be a stack right there right then, and then you lose a really crucial round, and then afterwards everyone's like, oh, bummer, like how did we forget about, how did we forget about that, and it just gets into the back of your head, and then exactly it snowballs.
I mean, unfortunate map for Kinguin. It was their pick as well. We will now move on to Dust 2, which is EnVyUs' pick. Do you think that, you know, it will be just a matter of them finishing the finals right here, or does Kinguin have the, you know, capability to bounce back and lead us into Cobblestone?
I definitely think they have the capability, especially because even though it's MB's map pick, they haven't looked specifically good on Dust 2, and that's whether that's due to their opponents making them play worse or not. I'm not really sure, but they haven't looked dominant at any given point when they've played Dust 2, to the point where they've actually been reliant on the opponents messing up at several instances for them to have a shot at winning the game.
Do you feel, Yona, like now, I mean, the fact that they've had a bunch of sloppy games on Dust 2, and it is their best map. I mean, it's the three maps they won in the major qualifiers
I was gonna say,
were all Dust 2 maps, right? Do you feel like, unfortunately for Kinguin, now comes a map, a Dust 2 game where actually Envy will be on point and Kinguin won't be able to match them?
That's my biggest worry, is that this is the French territory, Dust 2. It's always been through history, it's been the map they're most comfortable on. And yeah, they've had sloppy showings, but then again, it does, I think Dust 2 as a map really complements their qualities as a team. You know, Kenny is usually, even though he had a hard time in the previous Dust 2, I think, you know, you don't see that all too often, right? Apex as well, he usually plays really well, and I'm a little worried for Kinguin right now, for sure.
And Apex has been on fire, not just in the sense of getting kills, but he's also been very aggressive, you know, very confident. I feel that's when he's at, you know, his scariest point. One thing that maybe Kinguin can exploit on their T side is the fact that Kenny with the AWP plays a lot more aggressive than some of the other operators, in the sense that even when he's playing in sight, he is actually in the site or on the A slope. He's not playing towards car like super passive, and that is a position where he can be very powerful because he's an extremely skilled player, but you can negate his influence as well. If he misses the first shot, or if you molly him off and then flash him out, he has nowhere to go, and then you can like take the control of the site and also be up in numbers.
For me, playing against a guy like that, you know, who plays in such a matter, it's very important to be very effective with your utility, and it comes down to the pacing of everything. You know, utilizing mollies and flashes correctly, and then also pacing that together with how people are actually committing to the bomb site. You can't just go in there dry, right, and try to take aim duels, because that's not going to work or fly at all. So it comes down to then Kinguin being able to execute properly, and then if they do, that's then Envy's turn to try and react to that. They need to start being more aggressive, perhaps, and try to intervene before Kinguin gets to do that.
Yeah, one of the things that's going to be really interesting for me here on Dust 2 is to see how EnVyUs deal with their CT side, especially how they plan around holding control over middle, because that's something that they pretty much ignored for the better part of their game versus Space Soldiers. Space Soldiers, in my opinion, did not do a good enough job of actually abusing that, but Envy fell very much into that tendency of playing two sides on like inside the B bomb side, which can be very difficult when you have to deal with a split, especially if you're not cooperating perfectly and deciding whether or not you want to take control over upper or take the fight towards upper or towards mid. Very often you'd see, even the rotation coming in from the A bomb side towards mid would be very late from Envy.
And
And
that's Happy's role. That's why he's the key player. I mean, generally that's a key position. That swing player who's supposed to decide whether he's going to help the B players from CT spawn or is he going to play more towards A. I'll help the A players, and sometimes you see miscommunication there, where the B players are outside B, they're challenging mid, while their teammate in CT spawn is just playing passive. He's not pushing through that smoke. He's not committing, and I think that's one of those situations where you really need all of the players to be on the same page. Otherwise, your defense is just going to
I
fumble.
really like the way Tyloo played Dust 2 against Envy because they like had super high tempo to begin with. Like they were the first round they went for like a super fast B splits, basically sending 4 people lower tunnel and then pop flashing middle and just smoking CT spawn running up, and then they were like 5-0 up before anything really happened. Their downfall was the fact that they did not have elaborate enough executes towards the A bomb side because you cannot obviously just run onto the B bomb side 15 rounds in a row.
Okay, you guys slipped in the pre-show. I didn't ask you for predictions. We had to throw it like faster. So now, do you think we're gonna see a map 3, or is EnVyUs closing it out to 0?
Am I starting? Okay. I think Envy is going to close it out here. Blunt.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Envy is going to close this out 2-0.
I'm a host now, so I don't have to do predictions, and because of that, we're gonna throw it back to Professor Launders and Tom Giz. Take it away, boys.
Did I hear that right?
Yep, you did.
Oh,
You
man.
definitely did hear that. Thanks for that. I'm not going to say anything back. I'm not going to
You're
stoop
such
to
a
his
nice
level.
guy.
I'm not going to stoop to his level.
It's
yeah,
not because you have
I'm
nothing ready.
Well, I could just call him wanker or something like that.
Oh,
It's
there
not
we go.
exactly difficult, is it? Come on, man.
Nice.
Either way, we've got another map coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Dust 2. Are you still? I know you're not, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you still with Kinguin?
With Kinguin?
Yes.
Who?
Who?
I don't know, man. No, I said King will 2-0 it if they take train, or sorry, if they take Dust 2. But that obviously implies that they need to take train.
They needed to take
They're
train.
not a bad train team. I was
We
surprised that
didn't
it
get
was
to
that
see-
lopsided.
Yeah, we didn't get to see their CT side very much.
So it finishes 10-5, and the 5 rounds they won were pretty good. But because they lost both pistols and then only had the 2 opportunities on CT side, obviously still their fault. Have to use that as a disclaimer. But we only got to see them try their CT setups twice, and they just lost them both. I mean, Envy looked really good on those rounds. It's not. I would I'd say if the game went on longer, it'd probably have like a better chance for Kinguin to win because they played well in the rounds they won on T side. Like they were a good team. I would say that. Envy do look a lot better, but yeah, I mean, I think the only chance we see of there being a third map now is if it's played offline as a grudge match where they put up some of their prize winnings. To be honest.
I heard some interesting. I was like talking to some of the Hearthstone guys, which never a good idea in the first place. But they're saying it'd be an interesting way if they had a tournament where you buy with your prize money, like you buy down to weapons. So you can only have the certain weapons if you use the money.
Do you think incendiaries are $600? You gotta think about that every
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
600 real dollars, dude.
Yeah.
It's not worth that much. I want at least 10 more seconds of flames. Like no way I'm paying $600 for that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
it'd be pretty pricey. Obviously, I wonder how many times Kenny would buy the AWP if
Yeah, and you should feel real pain too every time you get shot.
auto
We'll
sniper
see how
would
people
probably
play.
never-
Everybody's gonna be in a corner. No one's leaving
real
spawn.
real pain.
Yeah.
Oh god. Hey, that'd be interesting to watch. I feel I wouldn't want to play ever. I don't have the money to play ever.
10 more years of esports. We're gonna have haptic feedback 2.0. They're gonna call us real sports. They're gonna call us real sports.
But yeah, so Dust 2. Obviously, MV have looked very good on this map. Like recently, it's one of the only maps where you can say, okay, they've been consistently pretty good. I do think that when Sixer joined this team, their CT side improved massively, just giving MBK a bit more of a roll over towards that. I think it was over towards B.
Are you saying their Dust 2 improved?
Yeah.
Hmm. He played really well in the earlier series that I watched with him on Dust 2. I've actually been very critical of specifically Sixer on Dust 2 on this team for how he played his role, but that problem wasn't there last time, so definitely improved.
Either way, MV are going to get the knife. They're going to get the choice. Dust 2, it doesn't particularly matter. I think it's just more personal preference than anything else. Obviously, statistically, it's an 8-7 map.
Yeah.
So relatively balanced, good start can definitely help you out. Pistols, as always, are going to be crucial. We'll probably mention that some other time in the game as well, if it's that sort of close range scenario. But either way, we are going into what could be the final map of the tournament. $800,000 for the winner. Half of that for the team second, which is still pretty good. It's still pretty good, but
it's all right.
It's not winning.
Yeah, it's not winning. And
It's not winning.
and
You
you
don't
know
get the
what? The
trophy.
mentality is we're losing 400 grand.
Yeah.
That needs to be the mentality.
Yeah. Either way, pistol round underway. Apex. Oh, actually can have a deagle. We saw MBK do really well with the deagle last time we had this. I think he actually got 2 kills on players rushing back through on the B site. So
Yeah,
see
maybe
whether he
2
can actually
1Ds.
do that again. Rylan actually going to take a little bit of a push, but he's not going to spot 2 match out. I wonder if he's falling back because of the position of Happy, but it actually looks like he's just going to go rotating away. A little bit unsure of what he's actually doing at the moment, but there are people now gathering up over in these tunnels. Mao's going to be the only one there, and they are all rushing towards him, unable to connect as of yet, jumping around the corner. I think he may be long for this world. Rylan managing to get himself one back into the site does give them the man advantage as the bomb is going to be planted over on this B site. MBK, he's still going to be there with his deagle. Happy, lurking as always, manages to catch one off. Can he get the second? Doesn't look like it, but does get out with his life. That's at least something, but, well, re-peeks, and Furlan is going to take his head clean off. Also manages to retrieve the kit in the meantime. Peek from Sixer is going to be ended, and now it's all down to the deagle. Nothing that can be done, and it will be the first round going the way of Kinguin.
I can't say that. I mean, I'm not sure why Happy came back for more after he was managed to escape. There were so many missed bullets in that round. Good couple of kills on the entries where it seemed like the sight hold was falling apart, kind of like a last bullet kill before he got traded out, and then Rowlin finding one through the door. Those are really important, but Happy getting that kill at mid was also very important. The second man to trade was critical for the CTs, but Happy almost got away from him, and then he came back into lower with 10 HP after they had both reloaded. I mean, I'm not sure why he did that. If he had gone upper, for example, and a CT had to follow him there, then he would have had to clear all those angles, worry about spawn, even if Happy just went into the site and did something else. So he could have delayed a lot longer if he didn't try to fight again. Not sure what the thought process there was.
Either way, 4 rifles actually brought up on the CT side for Kinguin, so any losses in this round are going to be very costly. Quite a bit of utility actually coming in on EnVy, so I should be able to do quite a bit in this round. And we are going to wait for this push to come in. Here come the nades, and while Furlan is going to be in a great position to try and slow this one down. Nobody really looking in his direction. They're just going to run straight past. Spiro going to have a lot of people coming his way, and Apex is going to decapitate him. Furlan takes a lot of damage himself, but does quite a bit in return to Apex. And now we're going to look at this rotation from Mouse. A lot of players on shore. Happy's going to get himself another one. And this is starting to turn a little bit worrying. Furlan, well, he'll get one, but these remaining 2 players, they're just going to have to fade out of here. Don't want to give the 2 rifles over towards that T side. And, well, bringing them into the next round does give them an extra chance to try and fight this one back.
I want to say they played that round a little bit fearfully. Everybody losing their duels like that shouldn't happen. Obviously, a cat take with pistols can be quite strong with the right flashes as well, and they did do a good job of flashing our man on ramp and completely neutralizing him. That one frag going 1 and 0 in that kill, it allows for the plant number 1, and it also is good enough to get the plant before the rotates can come in, which a huge part of his job is just delaying long enough. So the explosiveness from EnVy made me feel like watching them cross cat was making Kinguin way too nervous, and they cannot be in that mindset right now. 1-1, instantly stealing back the momentum. Big win for EnVyUs. They are they're gonna have to go up against a force up from Team Kinguin. It wasn't a close round though, and even though EnVy forced, they also saved most of their players, so I think it's almost unwarranted for this to happen. Mihu get an aggressive top mid in a situation like this. Oh, well, he's one of the only guns, but they're also, sorry, I thought that they were the team that had less money. It makes sense that he tried to make a play.
Spiro, he's going to go into a world of pain pretty soon. Apex finishing him off, and everybody looking like they're being cleaned up. The remaining 2 players, they're just going to fall back to the B site, and EnVy making this round look very, very easy as well. Obviously, as you said, Mihu just trying to make a play early on. Doesn't manage to connect the shots, and it's going to be Apex. Couple of kills, and that will be the end of the round. And, well, now for EnVy, they do actually have a little bit more money to spare. May want to try and take this other rifle out of the hands of Scout of Maus. Also over on the B site. Nice shot to start things off. Can he get anything more? That's the question. Doesn't manage to connect onto MBK. We'll be throwing out the flash, and it's just going to be spamming shots away. Players getting ever closer by the second. Also, we're going to see a slight push into tunnels from Happy. Hasn't actually made his way forward as of yet. May just try and hold them within this site, and MBK,
damn,
wonderful stuff, just pushes in, takes both heads off, and MV have themselves another round.
playing retake right there. Really nice couple of kills. Back of the site, pristine crosshair placement, headshots to complement. And an easy round. They also, you know, they're chasing in that situation, but it's because it's Kinguin would have taken those guns, recycled them to the next round into the save, and would have increased their chances of being able to win or actually do a lot of damage by, I want to say, like tenfold. Right now it's only USPs and P2Ks. So EnVy quite often do this, walk into B. It's very uncommon to stack B on eco rounds. Something like iBuyPower used to do a long time ago. Really good strat that they have. Mihu does a bit of damage, not so bad. And the couple of players in mid both go down. Site's been taken. But here's MBK, excuse me, from the back. And they know that they've given up a couple of these guns, so I think I'm going to assume the hunt's going to be on here.
Yeah, already we can see 6 up pushing in from behind Spiro. If he doesn't make any noise here, this is going to be a very easy kill to gain. And Spiro is unaware. Furlon, in the meantime, has gone all the way out towards long. And I don't think they'll be getting him from here on out.
There's only a couple of places that he can be, and it's either back in T-spawn, which would have been pretty weird if he didn't actually spot Sixer and call that out, and long pit. So here's MBK.
Ooh,
He's not finding the exits, actually. Yeah, he gets the kill. It's someone else who found him first.
Yeah, Apex doing the majority of the damage. But either way, they take both of those rifles out of the hands of the CT side. There will be a buy coming in this round anyway, so not the end of the world, but definitely could have meant that they get a little bit more utility. I'm interested to see how much they actually have on their side of things. Decent couple of rounds, though, for EnVy. They're going to clean things up nicely and keep a lot of players alive. And, well, actually, the utility's not that bad. It's just there's no AWP, which is definitely something I want to see on the CT side for Kinguin.
Yeah, I mean, utility could be better, and then also there's not a single kit, no AWP, as you're saying. They can't afford to risk EnVy getting a plant right here, which isn't something that you can plan for too easily. They're also playing 2 Deddy B with 1 mid B, which means they're really hoping that EnVy, whatever they do right here, cat control is very standard no matter what you're going to do, but that they go back to a mid B. I honestly want to assume King won't even rotate off this, but it looks like cat control has been taken. Leaves our man at long, very vulnerable. Also full flash, manages to bounce away. But he's going to sit there, and wow, Furlan through the corner of the smoke. It's shot between the eyes of the MBK.
BK looking very good so far in this game. Kenny with the AWP will get another one, and it is starting to get to a point where I feel like Kinguin are saving more than they're actually playing.
Yeah, they are, and it's, you know, they fell back into a very passive setup. It's not uncommon to, if you're in a 2-1-2, if you're in a 2-1-2, you're expecting a mid-B, right? So that's like a read, and sometimes on CT side of Dust 2, that's fine. That was nuts. Sometimes on CT side on Dust 2, it's fine to assume that it's going to be mid-B, even if cat control gets taken, even a couple of flashes come out, to just commit to that setup if you feel like your mid-B is going to be weak, and you know a team likes to mid-B a lot, like EnVy do. That being said, if your guys on A aren't able to both stay alive for the retake, the plan falls apart almost instantly. You need 5v5 to take back A, and sometimes there are exceptions, but then Furlan dies in CT, trying to get off that corner of that smoke, and it becomes much more difficult from that point on. And it seems like, as you're saying, they're saving so often because they're trying to play the late round game, but EnVy are getting right in their faces and forcing them to lose the round before they get a chance to play it.
I actually want to see Team Kinguin give EnVy a little bit less respect as well. I think they're respecting them too much. I want to see some aggression. I want to see them try and take some cat control, not allow them to just push up it and pretty much have it for free whenever they want it during the round.
Just as you say, Tom, there was a variety of ways that Space Soldiers were able to abuse cat control to try to get opening kills, and it worked constantly on EnVy. So I fully agree with you.
It was what Tyler were doing as well. Just a lot of aggression.
Yeah.
And it did work. Yes, they lost the game, but it was very, very close, and it at least made EnVy have to change things. That was a nice little shot from Mihu. Going to be going for the peak, but that's something that this Kinguin side is normally very good at. taking the initiative. Not the best smoke in the world, but we are going to get away with it. Kenny,
Okay.
he's back in his trusty A spot. Wouldn't want anybody else in this position, and for that very reason, he's just going to be peeking around. I feel like he knows these angles better than anyone.
He's definitely gotten a multitude of frag clips from all of these spots that he's playing. I'm picturing a 1v3. I'm picturing a 4K.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can picture everything under the sun.
Absolutely.
Either way. It is just going to be a couple of exits. That's what the CTs are hoping for. Obviously, we know that they are buying into the next round. They're going to be having that loss bonus. Nice little kill. That's lovely. Yeah. Can he actually get away with this AK? That's the only other thing. Doesn't have any armor. Either way, his teammate will be able to pick it up if he dies. And actually, he's going to get away with it anyway.
How is this man on Team Kinguin and doesn't have a knife skin? How does that happen? Answer me that, Dom.
Space Soldiers, some of them don't have one either.
Yeah, but Team Kinguin?
I suppose.
Literally sell skins on their site. Anyways.
It could just, yeah, and they could even just put a little sponsor on there.
This is almost, you know, the problem isn't that it's 5-1. It's that, as you just talked about, Kinguin are, as we both alluded to, Kinguin are kind of playing scared as well as very passively, getting abused for it, and not changing anything up. Look at how quickly EnVy just ran into lore without even bothering to check for Cat.
They're not checking anything at this point. They know that their opposition aren't really challenging too much. Furlan is going to peek out, but this is the problem. Before he actually pushes there, they didn't even know they were out mid yet. They didn't have any information whatsoever.
No counter nades have come out. They're assuming that the setup is not going to work and that they're just going to have to sit here and frag. It's like they're hoping for a fake every single time. Nobody threw a nade for mid B. It's supposed to be way more hectic than that. A lot harder for the terrorists to get out, causing trouble.
This is some of the most basic CS I've seen played by EnVy. They're literally just pushing wherever they want.
Yeah.
But if no one's going to stop them, that's exactly what they should do.
They took like 20 seconds to get into lower versus Space Soldiers, like almost every time, because they were worried about this double boost. Same with Tyloo, they're pushing up Cat. Everything is unchecked. Like, you couldn't have been more right.
See the cross this time. We are going to see some aggression onto short. It's coming out from Mihu, but he's going to be blinded. There we go. First pick comes in. He's going to stick around the area as well. They have lost long control, but that's fine because they've gained Cat in the meantime, actually taking some presence. And now they can go for the information play as well. This is exactly what we want to be seeing from them. Spiro as well with the AWP manages to get himself one kill. Obviously, very, very low, so has to be a little bit careful with this one. We'll see some counter nades coming in from EnVy as they attempt to push back up, and actually through the smoke, we're going to see one come in. No crossing smoke, however. And this Cat control definitely helping them out. Finally, EnVy will throw down some smokes, but we'll see what they can do. Sixer going to go for the orb shot, but it's actually the flank coming in from Furlan. MBK is in a 1 versus 3, managing to take down one. Looking for a little bit more. He's got players pushing in from all angles, and there goes Mihu. Much better round from Kinguin.
Yeah, good cleanup. Look how sloppy EnVy played it too. They just went up Cat with one man. Honestly, I think they did it just as a confidence move. And a fast Cat, you're not supposed to have like heavy utility or a lot of people with you. Sometimes one can be enough if they're able to catch him off guard. Mihu's just really ready. Honestly, he's sick. But after taking long, just like the no smoke on the cross, as you mentioned, the 2 smokes on the cross late, and allowing their offer to get a kill because they didn't even bother throwing a flash to check if anybody was on the A site with one. All of these were just missteps that they could have avoided. It's one thing to have to take a spawn to go long all the way to site. That's one thing. Maybe you don't use so much utility, but they didn't necessarily take long running the entire way. They stopped to go outside, so it's not something. It's a precaution they needed to take.
This time, EnVy slowing things down a little bit. Getting caught out by the little pieces of aggression that Kinguin threw into the last round. And that's all it really took. Just one round where EnVy get caught out by the aggression. They stopped just running straight down mid. They stopped just going for these very aggressive pushes. They slow things down a little bit, and I think that should play a little bit better. We've got a player up in Goose as well, so the defense has slightly changed. We're going to see the deep CT smoke, and that will actually allow them to push a little bit further out into mid.
Here,
now this setup's sort of made for A. That's the only problem, and while Ralen's going to fall. And now, really, they're getting ready for the split with only Maus left. I think he has to actually go and try and take control of tunnels. Otherwise, he's just going to get pincered in, and MBK is going to be the one to finish him off. Mihu trying to take over some control, but either way, it's a 4 versus 3 retake on B. And this is going to be exceedingly difficult if they even go for it.
Yeah, they're so happy to save every time they go down in men. This is this is one round, or this is one situation, I suppose. 4-3 site control, no one near the site to try to get in, where it wouldn't really make sense. I mean, they have some utility, but they're so far away, and they're going to get reset as well. So it's actually really a lot of onus on Envy to try to kill whoever they can in this situation, so that they're just dead broke for 2 rounds. 2 more rounds. Furlan might get caught off guard. No, it looks like he's going to get the better of Apex. That's a big find. It's also given up his position a little bit there. But yeah, they have confirmation that Kinguin have decided to save now. But like, yeah, so that's just a good round from Envy. They picked mid B when it was a 3-2 setup, right? They had come out mid slowly this time. Last time that they went up cat slowly and did this exact same play, it was Envy who went up cat, and so Kinguin were probably confident that this 3-1-1 or this 3-2 would make a lot of sense. They weren't right about it, and that's what makes Dust 2 hard. There's just so many reads on CT side, but there's very little movement as well from Kinguin to try to get their information.
Going for the aggressive push. Info plate onto Cat once again. Sixer has 1 kill and 21 points.
Valve score.
That's actually quite impressive in itself.
I think he's just been really good at planting bombs.
Yeah, well, why not? Someone has to do it.
Pick me up. That's just okay. I didn't mean.
Oh god.
Oh.
3 versus 4. CT side aggression paying off once again. Rarlan, good positioning. Only just about manages to get the kill. Kenny going to be running around the corner, but Rarlan gets both. Exactly what was needed of him, and he's going to shut down the B push. MBK, the last man left alive, of course. We know that the economy is not great on the Kinguin side, so if he can do some damage, it'll be hugely valuable. It's actually going to smoke off one side. Now, both players on B are relatively low. Rarlan going to go for the peek. Actually catches MBK reloading, but it will be falling through the smoke. They keep 3 players alive. A nice little beginning to that round. I like the aggression from Malice peeking into lower.
Really nice for them that they were able to just win their duels individually and stop the momentum from MB. Honestly, not too much different happened there. Right? They were just able to connect more of their shots and win their opening duels. A big problem for them. I mean, like, for example, a 3-2 can work even versus a mid-B split, but if your opening kill is just like you get opt-in window and then give your team no information, the split comes out immediately, there's no chance you're going to win with just the one person on the site. It's just way too hard. So that round could be considered a write-off, even if the setup wasn't favorable. It's not like they should have lost. And that Mihu is just constantly killing Happy. Like, that's what he does, no matter where he is.
Mihu taking the control of long. Quite a bit of presence over towards middle at the moment. Double AWP setup over on the CT side after being picked up in the last round. Furlan lines them up, though, and knocks them down. And what a round from Kinguin. Flawless. They will build up their economy. And Envy, well, most of the players can buy. Sixer and Happy will be the ones struggling a little bit to get a buy on the board. Kenny going to go for the glass cannon AWP. But Kinguin now with a good opportunity to actually get themselves back into this game. They did start very slow. And did look like they were playing a little bit scared. But now we've started to see some confidence. But, well, Kenny, always the one to punish such peaks.
Tough to win that duel. As a CT, you're at a disadvantage trying to peek mid. There's a lot of ways of trying to open up differently, and wow, that was really tricky how MBK just sprayed, fell back, Apex came out. That would have been so annoying to deal with, and instantly the site is just theirs. Off of a really, really rough buy as well. Is Furlan really going to do this? Okay, I thought he was going to come out of the smoke completely and try to go for like a shot. That wouldn't have made any sense.
I think he went for the no-scope on the bomb planter.
Okay. And
every time.
EnVyUs killed Happy no matter what. Like, what is that like equivalent to? That's so funny. It's like some cartoon where like the bad guy pops up like a million times, and then the good guy just like bops him instantly. It's like Happy comes around the corner.
Roadrunner.
It's like the Roadrunner. Yeah, I guess so.
No matter what he does, he always loses.
Yeah, that's exactly. That is pretty much it. It's so funny. Happy just comes flying around a corner by himself, laying two around on the other side of the map. Me, who's just ready. M4 headshot. No nade out. No running.
I don't think he'll be too unhappy with that one, though. You have to say. They are 8-4 up at the moment, looking pretty good. Obviously, once again, we're going to see some weapons saved for the CT side. Double AWP setup in play once again. Not going to be peeking mid this time. We're going to fall back to the more standard strategy. Now, a lot of the time, I have to wonder, like, Envy could just have long control. This time, Furlan has actually taken over pit, but he did do it a little bit late after the nades went down.
Oh,
I like
finally, finally, here we have it. The cat boot. Ooh, Apex, no stranger to this as well, has died many times this tournament to somebody boosting on cat. No matter how tricky he's been, there he spotted one person, and the jump is at a strange angle. Has shied them away from this setup. Now, you know, they don't have layers to the setup, which I don't really like. Sometimes it's okay to do this, but it seems like after they've shown the op, they decided to go to a 2-1-2, and I was just focusing there on how Malzino was moving towards mid, and I really liked how last time they had Furlan at the door and Malzino right behind him to get those kills. Furlan obviously doing the brunt of the work with that 2K, but the teamwork involved in that, it was really nice to watch. That being said, I was thinking layers to their play in terms of getting up on cat, keeping one at bricks, having someone flash behind them. These are like 100% setups that you can use, and if you miss, you just fall back.
Yeah.
It doesn't guarantee you kill, but it guarantees you at least stay alive. Sparrow shows that he still got the op at A. A third player in CT. And it makes you wonder, where are MB going to go? Are they going to try to force their way into this? It looks like yes. Oh, man.
Apex on the entry. Doing nice work so far. Mihu's going to go down. It's Apex once again. Looking at you at the moment, Furlan. Doesn't really have too much support. We'll be able to get one back, but it is the afterplant positions. Still a player just sat on B. Roland doesn't seem to care at all.
What exactly is he doing? Are they just
like he genuinely he didn't move.
They
the
don't
whole
have any
round.
utility and have decided to save.
Yeah, but there must have been a moment where they considered going for it, and he didn't move at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he was the one saying, "No, guys, let's not do this."
I want to keep my AWP.
He's that friend that's not so drunk and doesn't want to get into the fight. Very important to have teammates like that.
Mouse. We'll take one, but it just seems like most of these frags are just coming as exits, and Envy are not going to care. And they're 9-4 up.
Yes, and at a certain point, you just can't keep saving, right? Who is a?
But
who is
it's
it
a
that
grand
was,
final. You can't just sit back the whole. How many rounds is that? That must be like 5 or 6 rounds.
No, you can't just get hit 100 times going to the corner, wait for the next round. Literally, just like boxing. It's just like you. Oh, Rowland gets tagged in. Rowland just looks so desperately uncomfortable.
Oh, he tagged Furlan as well.
And you can just see it's the blood pushed out of him on the wall behind.
Happy in a very good position to stop any aggression that's going to come out. They're not using any utility either. Mihu.
Oh, he pulled out a better gun.
Happy just goes to hide. Doesn't want to come up against Mihu there. That would be death for sure.
There's actually 3 people in B right now.
Yeah, and well, I think this may have been realized. A lot of players on cat at the moment. Spiro, well, you've got a lot of work to do, buddy. Glass Cannon AWP already blind. Apex is going to drop into CT. Goes for the peek with the AWP. Manages to get one, so it is still 4 versus 4, but the lead still seems to be with Envy. Even here, Apex will get himself another, and low players. Bomb yet to go down, but they've got absolutely no rush to make it. And this one they have to go for, surely. 3 versus 3. Actually got to be pretty careful of Apex's position. He's actually sneaking up behind. That's just so evil. Nothing Mihu can do in this situation. And, well, guess what?
It's unbelievable how they influence the rotate so heavily with just Happy showing himself. What's ironic about that is that they showed Happy, of all people, right? And he happens to be on the other side of the map. And the thing is that pattern-wise, he's been on the other side of the map every single time. Mihu has shut him down on Cat late when they've gone B, when he was going to jump CT. Shut him down long when they gone B. Every single time, Happy has been playing an almost antiquated style of lurking, which is like a really hard lurk. People don't even do that anymore because once you actually look at the player and you see their name tag and you see who it is, that this just tells you something about how the rest of their teammates are playing. Happy is doing this, and yet Kinguin are still biting, like really hard on just the fact that he's a player, and not responding to the fact that he's actually playing his role just as you would anticipate.
Ooh, Apex tag down to 9 HP. Push is going to be coming in towards middle. Mouse with a lot to do. Goes to the spray, manages to get one, trying to fall back. Isn't quite going to be able to get around the corner. Furlan trying to support his teammate through the smoke. Will actually be Mouse to find another one. Mihu gets a kill for himself as well, pushing in from Cat. And well, a round finally coming up this time for Kinguin. 10-5.
Yeah, 10-5. I will say the mid B has got like that. Like I said, that pulling their extra man out to play close mid seems to work so much better for Kinguin. Letting them out in that 3-2, the two players in sight were never playing that properly, or didn't have the utility to like smoke out one of the choke points, force them into window and tunnel, have one person dedicated to each. It never worked out like that. So I'm glad they made the adjustment of pulling them out to an older style of mid B where you have them close wall and then one person jumping on the boxes trying to spam, cause a distraction, maybe get a kill. And they were doing a good job of playing that towards the end of it, but it's, you know, it's all, the half's already over, and they've only gotten 5 rounds out of it. This isn't train, and they aren't moving on to CT side of it. This is a really tough comeback that they have to make.
Sixer still has 1 kill.
Sixer still has 1 kill, EnVyUs 10 rounds. That's really crazy.
That's crazy. Apex has been having an absolutely huge game. Just entry kills all over the shop, making this look easy. And, well, we'll see whether or not Kinguin can change something here. Got early long control. Not really that valuable in the pistol round, just because of the fact that, well, as long as EnVy don't go pushing, they have the USPs, they have the long-range weaponry. Don't really need to try and take those short-range battles. Quick trade will come in at the beginning of the round. It is going to be the push, barreling onto short. There are still 2 players now. Oh, actually, nice shot from Mouse. Apex, however, looking for a little bit more. Gets himself a second.
Dirty.
Spiro will be there to trade, and it's still going to be back to a 2 versus 2. Now, they haven't dedicated themselves as of yet. But then again, MBK hasn't taken the bait either. And actually, this could be a nice little crossfire. MBK gets one. Obviously, no smoke, and Apex will get the other.
Yeah.
11-5. Pistol goes the way of EnVy.
Kill number 2 and 3 for Apex, especially gorgeous. Main stat line here is that they've lost 4 pistols. You know, 4 pistols in 2 maps, that's a lot of rounds. If no ecos come about, obviously. 12 in total. Savage Observer pointing out the 1 and 9. I think the funniest part about the 1 and 9 is that EnVyUs have 11 rounds.
And that he has 5 MVPs.
He has 5
That's how many times they've saved. He's got that many bomb explosions.
Oh, right.
It's
right.
absolutely ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Kinguin backing out of almost every round. Now they don't have a choice. They're with the pistols. They're going to go aggressive, and Kenny just shutting them all down. 4 kills for him. Happy with 1. 12-5 EnVy. Wow. They're making it look easy.
They're making it look very easy. And, you know, if you grab the random matchmaking pub, put them in here, just any scrim team, open to Premier, they'd all get wrecked by Kinguin, but EnVyUs is making it look like they are one of those people, one of those teams, one of those mixes. Kinguin are definitely not playing their own game right now, and you know, the fact that all these pistols are going their way is just making it look like such a curb stomp.
Apex, well, he's just got a nice easy round again. I think actually, not to ruin your stat, but I think they did actually win the CT pistol.
They won the CT pistol in this game. Oh yeah, that's right.
They
got
lost,
eco.
they lost the next round.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not really that much different.
Yeah.
They still lost the same number of rounds afterwards anyway.
No, yeah.
Just
No,
not
thanks for pointing that out.
capitalizing on it. Either way, we will see Kinguin back with a buy. AWP onto Kenny. FAMAS and an SMG kept into this round. And, well, look at this aggression. Look, sheer confidence at the moment from EnVy. No reason not to be. We'll see if they can do any better. Nice flash, however, does come out. Furlan will get the first kill of the round. And now we can see if they can actually capitalize. Kenny Just trying to find a gap in this smoke. Not able to do so. Pop flash will come out. Mihu blind still manages, but MBK and Kenny have quickly traded things back. Now, in terms of the actual site, the A site is completely open.
Mihu's actually jumped CT into Cat. Yeah, he did that really quickly too. MBK gonna get completely off guard. Him. Kenny S though turns around and
Sixer with the timing
is gonna aim. Oh,
he actually gets away with a kill on Kenny.
He actually gets away, but not
Oh,
only
and
that,
he
he
gets
gets
the
both
second.
kills. Sixer can't
What?
get the second one on the board.
He's still.
Damn. Okay, that's when it slightly matters.
I love how
I
he's
mean, it
above
really
someone.
doesn't matter if Envy win this game, obviously.
He's
but
above someone with 11 kills.
that's funny.
I've never seen anything like that before, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at this point in time. Will be the round going the way of King with no mouse. Well, a little bit of luck, but still managing to get both of those kills. Sixer down to 35 HP very early on in the round.
My favorite part was when Malzino didn't even care that he was being shot. Proceeded to just headshot someone in mid.
Mihu looking to take a little bit of control. Obviously, they do have a player in lower. Need to make sure nobody on short, but at the moment, a relatively passive hold. Obviously, A long is where we've seen a little bit of control come out from Apex.
Let's see if this 2-1-2 makes more sense from Envy. It's kind of like a hard read out of the gate, just like Kinguin did previously, like in the first half. And no, I think one thing is that EnVyUs are going to be much better with their 2 players in B site, certainly. But I guess more curious about A if it gets taken, what the adjustment is and what it looks like if Envy win the round.
Smokes will go out into middle.
Actually, just to feed into the sphere.
Will actually be going pushing, but the bomb is still over on short at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Now it's going to get tagged very, very low. They're going to try and push through CT, but Happy is ready and waiting. Going to get the first, but it's just going to be a quick trade. A couple of players on the site. Nice work there from Kenny to get one. It's still going to be the 3 versus 2. The T side, they really need this round, and it's Apex once again. Peeks out, almost takes the second onto Mihu. Both players now in CT. Sixer. Hey.
Hey! He gets a frag. Everybody, team ace. Well done. 2 kills. Okay, so what are the small advantages that Envy managed to get for themselves versus what was basically an A split through CT? Well, obviously, Happy getting a kill was massive. The little bit of damage that MBK did on the player who came out mid through the smoke was huge. So, like, pretending it was a mid B, there was a little bit more action from our players in B preemptively. And that's like a lot of the stuff we didn't see from Kinguin. They kind of let Envy flood into their choke point before they tried to deal with them. A lot of action happening already, however, so maybe we'll save it.
Sixer's got his third.
Yo,
He just that's all he needed. He just needed to start Kenny burning, but we'll have the smoke to keep himself alive. I finally managed to get himself a rifle, but it's still just looking very, very bleak at this point in time. Spiro actually gets away with that kill, so we'll bring it back to a 3 versus 2, but he's very low on HP. Furlan getting another. This is starting to look a little bit possible now. MBK in from behind. Just going to take the head clean off of Spiro. Now it's all down to Furlan. Spots out Kenny. Knows that there's a player coming in from behind. Actually wins the duel as well. 3rd kill of the round for him. We'll have the opportunity to cross over to the site. MBK is ready and waiting on short. However, another headshot for him. 15 hit for
finals point right here.
$800,000 is a snap of a fingers away.
The $400,000 round, they'll call it.
Ooh. Not bad.
It's a grandiose title right there. But not untrue. If MBS win this, they're taking home first at this whole thing. Would have absolutely raffle stomped Kinguin.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mal's looking for this peak. Obviously, the buy that they have come up with is not a particularly good one. They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. And they may just try and get themselves into here quickly. Kenny is going to be the one waiting. Starts things off. First kill of the round for him. Looking for a second, but actually Sparrow's going to win the battle with the scout. That will give them the positioning, but Apex already trading one back. This is just going to be shooting fish in a barrel. Mihu is going to be the last one, and they have done it. And, well, they made it look really easy.
Yeah, they did.
That was the final, and Kinguin didn't even seem to come to play.
As a CSGO final should. as a CS:GO final should end. But I mean, a big win. Honestly, like the meat of the tournament for EnVy was their road to this place, right? I mean, fighting Kinguin in the end was because Kinguin were good enough to take down Virtus Pro. That was a huge victory. Clearly, didn't seem like they were prepared enough to be playing a final here and now. But at the same time, I mean, they got second. They were laughing. To be honest, this is a huge result for them. And really is a huge result for EnVy as well.
Yeah, a team that has had its problems, that's for sure. But to come out, win a tournament, obviously they were one of the favorites. I don't think that was ever in doubt. But Virtus Pro were probably the ones that we expected them to come up against. Different Polish team made it through, deservedly so as well. They played very, very well this tournament. I don't know what happened in the final. Something seemed to change. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they have to offer in the future.
Absolutely.
I imagine we will be handing over to the stage relatively shortly. Obviously going to be getting to lift that wonderful trophy. And the man with 3 kills in the final map will be the one to do it. Sixer gets himself that trophy. And yeah, well deserved in the end. Absolutely dominant performance in the final.
That Tom-sized trophy. That's how tall Tom is, IRL. In case you're
I'm actually, yeah. I'm just body, that's what it is. I'm actually standing on this chair.
And you only had to pay for half a plane ticket. True facts.
I get the kid seat. I actually just sit on Lorna's lap.
Yeah, you sound very North American. I'm sure we flew out of the same airport. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder, are we going to have an interview? I think we're going to have an interview. It looks like they're ready and waiting. Seem pretty happy with the trophy, at least. I think that maybe... Oh, there we go.
All right, 谢谢. All right, they are all excited. 那我刚刚问的问题，大家应该都已经听懂了。那么他们已经学会了来自于中文的谢谢哈。那我们一块儿来这个祝福他们春节快乐，怎么样？哈哈。来，我们一块儿4个字喊出来，3、2、1。Yeah, they're just saying Happy Spring Festival because that's the biggest festival here in China, and they want you to have a good time. All right? 好，大家再把掌声送给他们。好的 ，Thank you very much. Thank you very much, EnVyUs. Let's take a short break.
Well, it wouldn't really be a CSGO final if it weren't one-sided, unfortunately for us and unfortunately for all the viewers, but fortunate for all the EnVyUs fans out there. Pretty dominant fashion, 2-0 win over Kinguin, who seem to have, you know, spent all their energy on that semi-final against VP, unfortunately.
See, that's what I thought too. I mean, there's two sides to it always, right? I mean, either it's going to be one of those cases where you finally manage to overcome your demons, and then you're just going to be unleashing this beast that's going to dominate everyone, or you're just going to be super content. Finally, we've done it.
Or you just turn into a pussycat and get wrecked.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what happened, right?
yeah. Honestly, I think just the veto in itself just put them off to a wrong foot in this final. I think it would have been perfectly fine with losing Dust2 if they've gotten a better map for their own pick. Really, I think that would have made a world of difference. I think even if they're playing, obviously I don't think this is the level they've played getting to the finals. I think that's safe to assume, even though we haven't had the opportunity to actually see it for ourselves. But I think if they could have gotten off on Mirage, that definitely would have helped to the point where even if they would have lost Dust2 in this kind of fashion, it could have been made for a competitive third map. But
I think it's another thing we have to point out is they've lost all 4 pistols.
yeah,
So I mean, I think no matter which map you play with such an awful start against a team like EnVyUs, especially because what that means for them is they have a good start, they have a lot more confidence. You saw on the T side of Dust too, they would just walk out mid, look for those duels. It did seem like it caught King a little bit off guard. They weren't really prepared to defend that mid to B split that time and later on in the half.
yeah, it's strange though because that's the one thing that kind of worked for them on their T side versus Space Soldiers. That literally when they would push up the tempo, the most efficient and best rounds that we saw EnVyUs execute really versus Space Soldiers were the ones where they were on the brink of being broke. They had pretty much only AKs and one guy with a smoke and a flash and a dream, and that was pretty much it. They would do a B split, and they would do it efficiently. They would actually commit to it, fully push through, split the B defense. And I thought Kinguin's B defense for the better part of that for CT half was rather poor because we talked about it in the pregame, the fact that you have to commit as a duo, whether or not you want to commit to take the fight in mid or if you want to stay towards tunnels to actually fend off that push. They didn't either. They would have one guy pretty much taking that challenge alone in mid. Rollin would stay inside on the B bomb side, being left alone versus at least 4 people pushing into that B bomb side from 2 different angles. Like that doesn't work.
Also, this just in, Sixer breaks the record for most bomb plants in a single, in a single half. Yona, thoughts?
What can I say? I mean, he was sitting at what 20-something points with 1 kill. That doesn't really happen too often.
I mean,
does it?
it's all. I mean, we're having a bit of
MVP
fun, but I
points.
mean, that just shows you how dominant EnVyUs was, where he didn't have to do
Yeah.
much. Just
You pretty much got
do
the chance.
task. Yeah, do the
It's
task.
like if you're
plant the bomb.
fourth man into the site,
Yeah.
and everybody, because everybody's died on the side, the rest of your team are just running off to kill the rest of them, and you're like, well, I guess I have to plant. So, you know.
I mean, it doesn't help for obviously when, first of all, you had players going off from Envy. I mean, MBK was playing brilliantly, especially there in DOS 2, and pretty much all the clutches went the way of Envy.
Yeah.
I mean, pistols and all the clutches go your way. You're sitting quite pretty.
It's not even like those were close clutch situations a number of times. So sure, maybe on train,
Yeah.
you know, the pistol round with MBK in the 1v2. You just wonder if Kinguin had one good start to a half, could they have gotten like enough momentum to basically run away with it? I think
Yeah.
they possibly could have. They didn't really get a foot into either map, so to speak. And on top of that, the small mistakes we saw them made, probably due to inexperience or maybe being a little bit burnt out after that semi-final. It's just unfortunate that after having such a strong tournament all around, at the grand finals, they're just completely deflated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it happens. I mean, it's natural in a situation where you kind of in back of your head, even though you don't say it, you don't show it, but still, it's in somewhere in your back of your head that they've achieved something so important themselves, which is beating VP and getting into a grand final of this magnitude in terms of prize money, right? That it easily happens that you're just not, kind of the extra few percentage is just out of the way you play, and it shows on the scoreboard when you're playing against championship level players like EnVyUs are.
I mean, $400,000.
Not a bad
It's definitely
consolation prize.
a pretty good
It's okay
consolation.
for 4 days work.
But what does
100K
this
a
mean?
day.
What does this mean for EnVyUs coming into the major? I mean, there is a lot of
Still
speculation
broken up,
about
of course.
the French shuffle. You know, players switching back and forth. But this was like a very dominant win for them in the end, even though it has been a shaky trip to the grand final.
The finals was dominant, but I'm not.
You'd
I don't
still be
think-
worried?
No, I
Not
don't, it's
so.
not. I think this is more like a nice parting gift.
I was going to say the same thing. It's like
It's a
Like,
very,
talk about
very,
a
very
parting
nice
gift.
parting gift.
$800,000, the most in history. Not bad for, you know, a couple of days of playing Counter-Strike.
yeah.
Definitely
Go
not.
figure. Why not? I mean, I think they're still going to have a tough time at the major, considering the pedigree of the teams over there, and the system the way it is. You know, it doesn't really give you a lot of leash, right? In the traditional major system, they might have got a really lucky break with the bracket, maybe the group and stuff like that, and then, you know, you never know. But I figure they're going to have a really tough time going into this one. But, you know, it definitely helps. You know, it gives a bit of confidence at least winning this in all the alleged situations that are happening, maybe in the background that we don't know of.
I mean, if anything, it was a better showing than what they had at ESWC, right?
Yeah.
So even if the eventual outcome is the same, then they've shown a better side of themselves.
And to touch briefly on VP, because we all expected them to, you know, at least be in the grand final, if not lift the trophy. I think we're, you know, we have to see what will happen at the major in a sense of, was this a success in terms of getting games in, and then they will be warmed up for the major, so you know, a scenario like this won't happen there, where it might happen for some of the other teams. What do you guys think?
Well, I could definitely see that happening. Even when we saw VP getting red hot towards the end of the year, they would have one really good tournament, one terrible tournament, one really good tournament, and then one really off one. And you know, if they start 2017 off with an off tournament, then who's to say what's going to happen for the major?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, first of all, that they're trying these different things, because you're dumb if you don't learn from your mistakes. And we've known from the past that they're really slow starters off of a longer break. So them having, first of all, cut their breaks into small segments instead of having one longer one, and then going into a tournament, even though it's a 1.5 million tournament, you know, still kind of treating it as a preparation for the major, because major is a major. So I'm not too concerned for them, to be honest with you. I mean, it's still the map sale lots here were Cash were twice in the group plays, and then we didn't get to see the Kinguin match.
Well, they lost on Dust 2 and Mirage.
Yeah, on Mirage. So like what happened, like what were the specifics and so forth? Because in the third place match, sure, they had rough starts against Space Soldiers, but afterwards they were super dominant. Individuals were playing on point. They were playing great together. You know, classic VP style. So you know, I wouldn't be super worried.
Yeah, and I think we can safely assume that 2 of these problems that they've had at this event is going to be gone by the major, and that's called Cash and Dust 2. Unless they've completely lost it, but yeah, you can always assume it. Like that's what I think what they wanted to use this tournament for as well, like a bit of a stepping or testing grounds to see whether or not they actually could bring this as a secret weapon or like something new to the table.
That's what's great about this group phase for them too. When they
so
had
many
so many
matches.
games, best of 2s, they got to play 8 maps in the group play. So I mean, that's tremendous in terms of like just letting through a map that you know you're not going to be super confident on, but still feeling confident enough that you're going to make it through to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet spot to be in.
Yeah.
Like if you can have that luxury for you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for the whole tournament. You guys did an exceptional job as per usual. It was a pleasure as always. Also, thanks to Tom and Launders, who've been casting a lot as well these past couple of days. That's it. EnVyUs take the first place and $800,000 in prize pool. Not too shabby for playing some Counter-Strike. So thank you everyone for watching, and here from us at Shangzhou Olympic Center in China, we bid you farewell, and until next time, take care.